And that lets you save.
Look here.
True Form Life.
Green look on it.
You've just tuned into another episode of Exploring Mind and Body. I'm your host, Drew Tadia, fitness expert. Today I'm going to change your mindset and give you your own 10-minute workout. I'm going to tell you about failure and how it's not so negative. And we're also going to go over the importance of a food journal. All that and so much more coming up on...
This is Exploring Mind and Body with True Form's Drew Tadia, fitness expert on 96.5 CKFM. This segment brought to you by Shoppers Drug Mart.
I'm sure we've all heard a couple different quotes like, money doesn't buy happiness, or maybe, without our health, we have nothing. But time and time again, we put our health last. You can bet we put money first because we go to work every day, but we certainly don't work out every day. Think about it. What's really important? If you had all the money in the world, how enjoyable would it be if you were laying in a hospital bed? What about your children? What if they had billions of dollars, but were too stressed out, day in and day out, about your health to enjoy it? Right now, I'm going to change your mindset. I'm going to tell you how quick and easy it is for you and anyone else to improve on a number of things in only minutes a day. Boost your metabolism, feel better, gain energy instantly, and burn fat. I can't stress enough how the old way of thinking that we need hours a day in the gym to get results is wrong. It just isn't true. We don't need a gym pass. We don't need to be a member. We don't need a strict regimen to follow every hour of every day. People go to gyms for different reasons. They may not know another way to reach their goals. They may like the atmosphere, or they may like to throw around heavy weights. There's nothing wrong with any of those things. Then there's fitness classes. People go to them because they should be enjoyable. They get to work out with their friends and socialize before and after class, and sometimes during. There's nothing wrong with either of those options or the many other ones. What I'm getting at, you don't need anything but yourself. What you do need, and pay close attention, because what I'm about to tell you is more important than anything else you're going to hear. We need to get up and do something. We need to stop making excuses. We need to stop putting ourselves last and our health last. The most important thing we can do in the fitness world is make habits. We do it with everything else in our lives. We sit in the same chair when watching TV. We sit in the same place at the breakfast table. And we sleep on the same side of the bed. We are creatures of habit. I give this advice all the time. It doesn't matter what you do when you first get going or trying to get back into things. We need to form a habit. So do whatever you're doing at the same time of day. Once you do it for a while, you won't think about it anymore. It becomes natural. If you want to start working out, pick days. Do it every day on those days at the same time. Most people worry about what exercises they'll do, what program they should be on, what equipment they'll use. The list goes on. I'm telling you, that's the last thing you should be worried about until you form a habit. Once you form a habit, it's time to move on. This one right here may be hard to believe for those with the old mindset. You can get a great workout in only 10 minutes a day. Now, I'm not selling anything here. I don't have a 10-minute-a-day product that guarantees you'll burn body fat if you buy my machine. I don't have a machine. But I'm going to tell you, you can get results if you follow along with what I'm about to explain. Pick 3 exercises that covers your whole body so you can get a full body workout. Let's go with any form of sit-ups or ab exercises, squats and push-ups, to be as basic as possible for my explanation. You don't need a large area. You don't need any equipment. And in this scenario, I've even picked the exercises for you. So here's our program. A very simple program you don't need to pay $50 to $100 for, nor a gym membership. You're going to do 15 to 20 squats. That's it. Push-ups till failure. On your knees or on your toes, it won't matter for now. Then you're going to do sit-ups for 30 to 60 seconds. You're going to go from one station to the next without rest until you've done every exercise once. Allow yourself a short break, no more than 30 seconds after the 3 exercises, maybe to catch your breath or for a sip of water. Then you're back at it. You're going to repeat this circuit either 3 times or when the 10-minute mark hits. If you're just getting started, this will take you closer to 5 minutes, which is perfectly fine. Remember our most important rule. Form your habit before you worry about anything else like how many reps you're doing or how long your workout is. This short workout will give you all the things I've listed above. You're going to get your heart rate going in a healthy way, which will bring along many good things. Those feel-good endorphins will be flowing. You're going to have more energy. You're going to feel better about yourself. And finally, once you stick to this on a consistent basis, you're going to see physical results. So kick those excuses to the side. No time is no longer an option. Take 10 minutes out of your day for yourself, for your health. Feel better about yourself and work towards those results you've always wanted.
This segment brought to you by Health Street. Time now for Real People, Real Results.
All right, in this week's Real People, Real Results, we have some questions sent in by you. This one question came up at class, so I wanted to share it with the rest of you. What can you do for shin splints? This is a common problem for those sports that frequently take place on hard surfaces, especially when there's jumping involved. So basketball and volleyball has a large number of athletes that go through this. Then, of course, there's track athletes, which is pretty much all they do is run on hard surfaces. Even those rubbery tracks with enough running can cause shin splints, although the softer track does help. First of all, let me tell you what shin splints are. The pain comes from the muscle actually tearing away from the bone. Not a pretty mental picture, I know. There are different degrees of shin splints. If you don't do anything about them, when they first arrive, they can get extreme as to where it's hard to walk. But usually you run into a mild form, which means they're only painful when you run, cut, or jump on the floor. The worst thing you can do is nothing. With any injury, you need to strengthen. This is important, so remember this. I'll say it again. With any injury, you need to strengthen. If you leave it or take a break, maybe off season or miss some games or workouts, the injury will only come back. As mind-numbing as it is to go to the freezer after every game, after every practice or workout to get a bag of ice, this has to be done. Icing will be a major step in preventing your shin splints from getting worse. Icing causes blood vessels to rush to the area, bringing circulation along with it. We need to ice. Let's talk about strengthening. One thing you can do is walk backwards. When I was going to school, we would often see track athletes walking backwards around the track or on the treadmill. They were doing this to either prevent shin splints or help them build stronger. Something else you can do is tie a band around a stationary object and then your toe. You will then pull your toe towards you, causing resistance in the band. When you relax your toe and let it bend away from you, the band should also loosen. You can do reps of up to 12 of these, which will strengthen your shin muscle, or for a more technical term, it's actually called your tibialis anterior. You can also do the same exercise at the gym with a cable wrapped around your toe. The most important thing, though, if you're dealing with an injury, do something about it. It's never a good idea to just leave it. If you don't strengthen your injury internally from the root, it may feel better after some rest, but sooner or later, that same problem is going to bother you again. Our next question is, what is a protein shake for? The other night, we had a promotion at class where I handed out hemp protein samples to our members. These were actually sent in by Health Street from Rick, so thanks very much for that. I got a great question, which was, what's the protein for? I said a shake. They said, what's the shake for? I say this is a great question because I'm sure there's a number of people asking the same thing. I like those basic questions asked because sometimes I forget people don't know what I'm talking about. And if they don't ask, how do they know? I never get tired of questions. I never think they're stupid questions or questions too basic. I was always the kid that asked too many questions. I still am. I want to know everything about whatever it is I want to learn. I want to know why, how, when. Even when it didn't matter, it matters to me. So I got all kinds of responses from those authoritative figures. The ones we look up to, the ones we trust enough to help us understand. I got plenty of eye rolls. How about, don't do what I do what I say. I got stupid questions, even after I was told there was none. And I'll never forget the time my third grade teacher blew up at me for asking a question. Let's get back to shakes though. A shake can be used for many different things. The most basic is if you want to increase the protein in your diet. Many of us, especially those in the weightlifting world, try to get as much protein as possible. So they use protein shakes for an easy way to drink down some extra protein. Most buy a protein powder, mix it in a shaker or blender, and it's a pretty quick way to reach that goal. You can use a shake as a meal replacement. You would add all the nutrients you want to get in your meal, most likely fruit, some protein powder, maybe some veggies like spinach, and some of the other things you like. Personally, I throw in a banana, rolled oats, flax, and hemp seeds as a baseline. Then I go on from there. Sometimes I throw in some protein powder, and then sometimes I get creative, grab whatever's in the fridge, like frozen berries, or I find something I'm in the mood for, like ginger, oranges, or pumpkin seeds that have nutritional value. And finally, which goes right along with meal replacement, shakes are commonly used for breakfast. A lot of people don't like to eat breakfast, can't stomach it, or don't have an appetite in the morning. A good way to counter these is a drink. If you make a delicious, healthy shake, most don't have a problem drinking their nutrients in the morning. This really is a great way to get that metabolism going and start the day off right with some nutrients in your body. Trueform is working on some exciting news about shakes, which will be publicly shared in a couple weeks, so stay tuned for that.
That was Real People, Real Results. Now, back to the show. Trueform Life. This segment brought to you by Riviera Massage and Day Spa.
In this segment, we're going to talk about failure. The dreaded word failure, cousins to self-doubt, disappointment, and low self-esteem, to name a few. We've put such a negative connotation on the word, it's hard to think of anything else but. Since we were children, we were taught that failure is a bad word. We failed because we lost the game. We failed because we got a bad grade. We failed because we let our parents down. The word's origin in Latin means untrue or deceived. How did we change the meaning to what we perceive of the word now? I think we've been deceived by being led to believe that failure can't be a positive thing. In the gym and in life, failure gives you a baseline or a starting point. If you don't fail, you don't know where to build from, and you won't know how far you can go. Everybody has to start somewhere. We need to know where to start and how far we can be pushed if we're going to succeed. Many times we put a label on 12 to 15 reps. So your mind thinks your muscles are tired when you reach 12 to 15 reps, not knowing your body can do more. You fool yourself into thinking you can't do any more weight, reps, or minutes of cardio. That's why elite professionals hire personal trainers to push them to their optimum level. If you're able to control your mind, you will be able to push past your old failures and make new ones. Every professional has a skilled trainer behind the scenes. Professional athletes, celebrities, even trainers themselves. You get the most out of the last few reps of each set. So pushing yourself beyond of what you thought you can do is much more important than you think it is. To do this, you must fail. It's essential to know how far you can go to generate the maximum results, failing to achieve. Success would not be so great if we haven't failed. It's what makes the long journey worthwhile. Failure is why success is what it is. Failure is the reason we feel like a winner, have increased self-esteem, and feel a sense of accomplishment. Without failure, there's no success. Confucius said, our greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. Don't fear failure. Embrace it. Change the way you think, and it won't be so scary. Who knows how far you'll go?
True Form Life.
This segment brought to you by CLC Fitness Center.
All right, in this segment, we're going to talk about a food journal. I recommend that anyone who wants to make a serious lifestyle change health-wise needs to start a food journal. It's important to record what's going in your body for many reasons. Let's go over a few. Accountability is the number one reason we need to start a food journal. I hear it all the time. Some people need that accountability, not only from someone else, but from themselves. When you know you're going to have to write that chocolate bar down in your food journal or a couple slices of pizza, people tell me themselves they're more likely to choose a better option. We have this terrible or wonderful thing called a conscience that doesn't let us get away from the things we should or shouldn't be doing. When you have a food journal sitting right in front of you, it's hard to ignore what you're about to consume. I'm not saying it's a good thing to feel guilty, but I'm saying this is a good way to avoid those unhealthy foods or snacks altogether. The next major reason is perception. We all have a different perception of what's enough or what's a reality. Let me give you a quick example. I was at the gym and someone asked me how much water they should be drinking throughout the day. I told them, to get started, it's more important to know how much you're drinking at the moment. It wouldn't be very realistic for me to give advice such as you should drink 4 liters of water if they were hardly drinking any water at all. That would be setting someone up to fail, which is why I needed to know how much they were drinking at the moment. So this person told me they drink tons of water throughout their workout, which is probably enough for the entire day. I asked how much that was, and they said, oh, probably 8 to 10 cups of these. Then they held up one of those tiny cups that sit on top of those portable water bottle dispensers. I tried to explain that's not nearly enough for a workout, let alone a day. Of course, that's an extreme case, but that's reality. That story really happened to me. I guess my point is, without actually writing things down, we don't know what we're putting in our bodies throughout the day. I don't recommend weighing or measuring for beginners, which doesn't mean you shouldn't. I know a very good trainer that uses this method, who gets incredible results with their clients. It's just not what I do. So if you're going to start a food journal, write down exactly what you eat at the time you eat it. Carry your food journal around everywhere you go. It doesn't have to be big, just something you can write notes in, something that'll fit in a purse or bag without any trouble. After you've been recording for a couple weeks, you'll be able to see a pattern of how and when you eat. If you can't find someone to look over your food journal, do it yourself. Be sure to make small adjustments and make yourself some small weekly goals. If you're eating a bag of chips every night, reduce that to 3 times a week. If you have soda every